So it sounds like some people are about to get arrested here soon, within the coming year or two, maybe even sooner. Yeah, I got a couple clips that I want to show y'all because this is wild. And a lot is about to change here very, very soon. I'm gonna start off with this Caroline Levitt clip. So with that being said, let's dive in.
And then the president on Thursday told us that there was an incredible discovery that the Doge team had made. He called it horrible and incredible. Can you reveal that yet? Give us details on what it was about?
There has been a discovery. I hate to leave you hanging on a cliff, but I don't want to get ahead of the president on that. But I can confirm there has been a discovery. It's just not quite yet ready for release.
There has been a discovery. It's just not ready for release. Interesting. But this is what Uncle Trump had to say.
We found hundreds of, think of it, just hundreds of, we found millions of dollars of fraud and abuse and waste. And they're still going, they're going strong. They found something today that's horrible. It's horrible. So what they found, well, you'll find out very soon, what they found is incredible. And I give him a lot of credit. He's got some very smart people with him.
Do you think he confesses?
And they're working very closely with our secretaries and the people that are the heads of.
Do you think
you would appoint him to another position?
Found something very serious, and we'll know soon. Interesting. Let's keep going with this. So obviously, you guys can see this is Chuck Schumer here. Oh, Chucky Chuck. Of course, he's spitting out his propaganda. Trump has unleashed chaos on America. His tariffs hit families with largest tax hike in more than 50 years. Doge is sabotaging Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The market is having its worst 3 days since COVID. And congressional Republicans are all going along with it. Also, they can cut taxes for billionaires. Oh, Chucky Chuck. This is what Elon had to say in response. Chuck, I'm starting to think you're getting a piece of the action with the government fraud. But no, that couldn't possibly be the reason, could it? I think Elon knows something that we don't know. Oh, Chucky Chuck might have been getting a little something on the back end, okay? That money was doing what Jen Psaki used to say. It was circling back. It was circling back this entire time. But not only that, allegedly, some of these folks are getting money in another way as well. Check out what Tim Burchett had to say.
Mr. Hart, do any members of Congress, their spouses, or their immediate family have any property ownership rights to this property or any federal land?
Congressman, I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head.
Okay, do spouses of members of Congress own real property and lease it to the federal government? And how would we find that out? Because I think I know what you're going to say.
I believe the answer to that question is yes.
You do?
I do believe that.
Was there any way we could verify that information?
Well, you go to USA Spending and search, you open the books, our website, and you can look up members' names, you can look up any person's name, and find that information.
All right. I suspect that's being done as I speak. How much would the federal government save by allowing unneeded leases to expire?
The federal government spends about $6 billion on leased office space, so depending on how many you let expire, you get substantial savings.
Mr.
We could be saving billions. But instead, that money is, allegedly, in some cases, going right back towards congressmen's family. Interesting how that works, isn't it? Is it why they continue to fight to have empty buildings still? Keep paying for empty buildings? I don't know. Y'all let me know. This is also something that Tim Burchett recently had to say. Check it out.
Where we are.
Well, that's an excellent question. And when you see people here in Tennessee paying 50% of their income to state, federal, and local taxes through through everything else, fees and everything else, and then they see us sending literally billions overseas to our enemies. I've uncovered $40 million going to the Taliban. A guy named Sean Ryan over in Middle Tennessee, former Navy SEAL, podcaster. He and another guy named Legend and brought this to my attention. And, last term, I could not even get the Democrats to bring it up in the Senate. It passed unanimous in the House, not even a question, because they're going to have to admit they made a mistake. And they've continuously made a mistake, and they did it on purpose, is the worst part about it. And this graph that you're seeing, and that's 100% what it is.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a paper trail come back to Washington, D.C., and that's why I think a lot of people are nervous, and you'll see a lot of retirements because they are stealing from the American taxpayer, and now they've got their hand caught in the cookie jar, and all they can do is attack Elon Musk.
Interesting. Shout out to Tim Burchett. Maybe that is why they are yelling so loud. Maybe that is why they've attempted to set up all of these different protests, right, that mean absolutely nothing. It's because they know that at the end of the day, if Elon is able to dig deep enough, that money trail leads right back to them. Is that why Elon responded to Chuck Schumer the way that he did? Let me know what you think. But I tend to agree with Elon on this one.
I think they're getting desperate because, the reason we're seeing this extreme amount of hatred and violence is because we're actually succeeding in getting rid of corruption and waste. If we weren't succeeding in getting rid of corruption and waste, they wouldn't care. But we are succeeding. Without President Trump, this would be impossible. So I'd just like to say, it's only possible with this president.
I agree. And I've said this for days now, or for a while now, that if Trump and Elon weren't succeeding, Democrats wouldn't be yelling. If they didn't feel like Trump was going to succeed in what he's attempting to do, or Elon, they wouldn't have anything to say because they would just let them fail. If Elon wasn't hot on their trails chasing this money, they'd have nothing to say. They'd let him keep digging because the narrative is out there, right? These congressmen and women have been stealing taxpayer money, and we need to figure out how they're doing it. So if they weren't doing it, you would just allow Elon to follow the money trail. And if they were being honest, or if they weren't doing it, he would follow the money trail right to where it was supposed to be going. And they'd say, see, told you, we weren't stealing any of the taxpayers' money, but you are all conspiracy theorists. They would have a narrative to run with that was true. It was honest. Hey, see, you guys are all conspiracy theorists. We weren't stealing any money. You just followed the money trail. But the problem is they know they were lying. And that money is going to lead right back to them. It doesn't make sense for congressmen and women to be worth millions of dollars on a salary of $200,000. Doesn't make sense. How in the world do you have multiple homes that are worth no less than $600,000, $700,000 each, but you only make $200,000 a year? Explain that to me. You can't. Just saying. I'm just saying. And you heard it from Tim Burchett. Some people are going to get caught with their hands in the cookie jar. And not only do I want to see people retired, I want to see people thrown in prison. And that's what I think is going to happen. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll get that huge announcement for quite a while. Because if Trump is smart, which I believe he is, they're going to wait. They're going to wait until they have everything. Every last little crumb. Not even a speck left behind. They're going to get everything, put it all together, and then they're going to bring it to the American public. Because you know what Democrats are going to say? Oh, see, Trump's trying to be a dictator and get rid of his opponents, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole nine. They're going to yell and scream, kick, do the whole nine, and try to say Trump is a dictator. And Trump is going to be like, no, America, here's all the evidence right here. And then they won't be able to hide. We'll see it all. So I think it's going to be quite a while because it's going to take a long time to follow the money because they did it in a pretty sophisticated way. These aren't idiots that we're talking about here. These are very smart individuals. Okay, we all got to admit that. I mean, regardless of how we feel about Democrat politicians, they aren't dumb. Okay, they've done some things in some pretty sophisticated ways. I think they're sleazy. Okay, I don't think they're good people, but they are smart. At least the people running the show, the puppet masters. These aren't dumb folks. I don't agree with what they do, but they're not dumb. So it's going to be difficult to follow the money, but I do think Elon is hot on the trails, and that's why he said that, as well as Caroline Levert and Uncle Trump and Tim Burchett. I think that's why they're all basically saying the same thing. They're saying it without really saying it, like, we got y'all, But we ain't gonna confirm that quite yet because we want all of the evidence. We want every single crumb. But what do y'all think, man? Am I reaching? Am I reading into this too much? Talk to me. Let me know. Thanks for tuning in as always. Peace and love. I'm out.